The long-awaited assembling tutorial is coming. Hello everyone, this is MEPS FPV. This tutorial is full of practical information. Make sure to hit the like button and save this video for future reference. Before we dive into the drone assembling, let's take a quick look at these components we need. Starting from left to right, we have the drone frame, stock, and the motors. On top, we've got the VTX and the camera. First, let's take out the drone frame and attach those 4 arms. Grab the right side screws, but remember, don't tighten them just yet. Wait until 4 arms are roughly in place, then securing the screws. Next, install the longest screws. Those 4 screws will secure the stock. Different cameras has varying installation width, so be sure to choose the right one before your purchase. Secure the VTX and the cameras onto the frame, and then install the aluminum spacer. Now let's install the 4 motors. Pay close attention to the screw lengths. You don't want them to touch the motor wires, as that could cause damage. I've wrapped the motor wires with a protective sheet to prevent the propellers from hitting the wires. Here's the crucial part. The minus and plus signs on the ESC indicates the positive and negative poles. We will solder our power wires here. The 3 to 6S indicates the supported battery voltage range, and the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 represent the order of the 4 motors. The arrow on the flight controller point towards the front of the drone. The ESCs are generally installed underneath. Use a ribbon cable to connect the flight controller. This is what's known as stock. Now let's start soldering the ESCs. Strip the wire ends and twist them. Apply solder, then do the same for the solder pads. The black wire represents the negative pole and the red wire is the positive pole. Make sure you don't mix them up, otherwise you will set fires on it. With the power wire soldered, it's time to add the capacitor. This side with color represents the negative pole. This is what it looks like after soldering. Apply solder for the rest solder pads. Before we move on, remember to clean up any excess soldering blobs. Alright, with the pro soldering done, let's install it onto the frame. Measure the motor wires and the color of the excess length. The order of motor wires doesn't matter. You can adjust the motor directions when tuning. With the motor wires soldered, it's time for the moment of truth. Power on the system. If you are new to soldering, it's a good idea to use a voltmeter to check for any short circuit before processing. Once everything checks out, you can power up. Listen for this sound. It means everything is going well. Now let's plug in the flight controller and then power it up. 2 beeps indicate successfully initialization. You are halfway there. My flight controller comes with the convenient plug-ins for VTX and receivers. If yours don't have those plug-ins, you will need to solder those connections. Feeling overwhelmed by those solder pads? No worries. Just remember that labels like 5V, 9V, and BAT represent positive pole and the voltage, while G stands for ground and the negative pole. Ports like T2R2 correspond to the signal output and the inputs that we were using for tuning. T stands for signal receive and R stands for signal transmit. For components like the receivers and the VTX on the drone are all connected in this way. Follow your flight controller's wiring diagram for proper soldering. And there you have it, a full assembled 5-inch FPV drone ready to fly. What? You don't know how to solder? Subscribe us and we'll teach you next time.
MEPS